I'm going to probably eventually bring on like an OnlyFans girl.
Bro,
What's that life really like? Is it worth it?
I would like to. We don't have time today, but I mean, I want to talk about OnlyFans. Like, I have some serious issues with that.
Concerns. I think that's
Fair
a
enough.
separate episode on its own.
We should.
Yes.
I have some serious concerns.
I would like to do that maybe after we had the opportunity to speak with one. Because maybe if we had that conversation, like we're only one side of that.
Yeah, we're ill-informed.
Correct. But maybe if we spoke to someone, maybe we'll have a little perspective and maybe could possibly change our minds before we spoke on it as almost an authority.
And maybe a little bit of a humble pie.
Correct. Or we'll be like, we were right.
We are fucking right. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're like, we fucking knew it. You're fucking sipping all these bitches and all these beta ass males and shit. You're stealing from like. Okay, I'm gonna get over it. I just
you
have
guys need to do one before if you guys want to claim that you guys were right.
That's true too. Or maybe we record half. We'll interview one and then record the other half and see how right we were. But sometimes adding that action, because again, if we were to just give our take on that when there's so many of them out there, it's almost like we're doing the same thing that we hate, which is the propaganda side. It's only our version and we claim it as truth, right? Which is what everyone does and which is what I'm fighting against. So maybe we need to give our thoughts and ideas, actually have someone in that's in that world and space, and then give our thoughts afterwards. And maybe our opinion changed.
I like that.
You know?
I like that because it allows us an opportunity to retrospect.
Correct. And grow and learn.
Yeah.
You know, where we're not so pigeonholed into what we originally thought. Because I'm sure what you think and I think are very similar on the topic, right? Which is, I don't know.
Yeah.
We probably think it's horrible for society. But maybe if you hear the girl side of it, maybe you're like, maybe I can relate a little bit.
I don't think so. I think my bias and preconceived notions are pretty well founded.
Yeah. But again, you never know. It's sometimes you meet someone and they surprise you,
Fair enough.
you know?
Fair enough.
And I don't want to, if it was a really tiny segment of women that were doing it, then I think we can make our own assumptions. It's such a large group of women now that are doing it.
Yeah. And there's always a story behind the story.
Correct. And I think because they have the mass and the numbers, maybe there's something to it. And I'm not trying to say that it's a good thing, but I'd be curious.
I want to know what the CEO, who is a woman, by the way, for those that didn't know, how she rationalizes this. Like, you know?
I mean, for her, it's just money.
She is the master pimp.
It's just money, right? For her, it's money.
But
for the girls,
are you compromising your ethics, morals? Is there a compromise there? Is the question I would want to ask.
And I would say that for her, this falls on the side of she feels as though it's moral. Because everyone's moral compass is different.
Fair.
They all point a different direction.
Fair.
And hers probably points in that direction where they said this is empowerment. And there's a good chance that she actually believes this is empowering women.
Probably truly believes it.
But do the women who've been there for 3 years feel empowered? Maybe in the beginning you do because you're making money. But 3 years in, 4 years in, and everyone knows you now, do you still feel empowered?
In today's world, man, I feel like now, again, I'm speaking ill-informed because I've never subscribed to any OnlyFans and I've visited the sites a couple times just out of curiosity, but I have to believe that the long tail is more detrimental and negative, right? Because if you've been, let's say, I know we're getting into it, but if you've been doing OnlyFans for 4 years, I mean, you now have hundreds, maybe thousands of videos that will be attached to you forever.
Correct. But
Like,
anyone in content media could say the same, regardless of what that.
yeah, but I'm not
content
showing my titties, bro.
Yeah, but maybe they don't care as much. We're being pretty out there and vulnerable by putting our words out there.
Oh, we're being vulnerable now?
I mean, these are words that can always come back and haunt us later.
You're not wrong.
You know, it can
That's
always
true.
be mixed up, clipped up, and say, "Oh, hey, I know you're applying for this job, or I know you're
That's
trying to do this,
true.
or you're trying to raise this money." And 5 years ago, here's a little clip, and we don't know if we
We
agree
saw
with
you
that.
had an extremist on.
Yeah,
You had an insurrectionist
exactly.
on. Matt.
So
We can't do business with you.
it's similar. I don't know. I feel like I'd have to sit down with one to get a feel of it.
I
You
think
know,
that's
before I can make a judgment on that. I mean, I have my preconceived judgment, but I'd like to stay open minded and at least give it a chance.